before we erase 4 years of bills being signed in a blanket sweep, we need to look at the individual bills and make sure something very, very, very important is not being taken away.
This is for educational and entertainment purposes only.
Hello, and welcome to the Think Tank, where we use critical thinking, deductive reasoning, and just a pinch of common sense to draw unbiased, logical conclusions. I'm back once again with my co-host, the Honorable Dion Powell, and today we're going to discuss the fact that Donald Trump wants to do away with everything that was ever signed by his predecessor, former President Joe Biden, that was signed with the auto pen, a tool which in modern society is used quite frequently, especially by our current administrator, the Honorable Donald J. Trump. And with that being said, before we go into it, I would like to allow my co-host, Dion, to introduce himself. So, Dion, you have the floor.
Hi, family. I'm District Leader Dion Powell out of the Bronx Conservative Party, America First, political strategist, community organizer. So let's get it today, Leo.
All right. Well, Dion, let's start with you giving an explanation of what the auto pen is. Would you mind?
Well, presidents have used the auto pen and given discretion to their staffers to basically sign off on the miscellaneous documents that they probably don't have time to get around. This happens all the time in politics. Yeah, because I used to be a staffer myself. The chief of staff usually has discretion, as well as political campaigns. The treasurer has discretion, as well as sign up a few items. So with Joe Biden questioning his mental capacity at the time, President Trump, like a lot of Americans, believed that he wasn't really cognizant enough and aware of what he was signing at all times. So the President Trump has made a blanket and said, hey, all of them are disqualified because some of them actually, if you ask President Joe Biden right now, this day, I'm going to recall that he gave the okay for it or what it's for. So that's the fraud that he's trying to stop.
Wow. Well, that's a lot. Thank you for that. I did not know the treasurer had. Well, I guess, yeah, if you got a fiscal thing that's got to be done and bills that's got to be passed, the president can't handle every single thing. That's what administrators do. They put together a staff around them, call them a cabinet or whatever, that is able to handle their particular field. Like if I'm talking to the Department of Defense, I can't know everything about the war. Give me the breakdown, give me my best options. We'll go with those. I don't want to hear everything that's going on. Give me a breakdown, give me my best options. Like if we're trying to stop a war in Afghanistan, I probably don't want to hear what's going on in Canada right this particular moment. Tell me what's going on in Afghanistan. Tell me what we got to do. If we are trying to put together a budget to build a building, and I don't want to hear all of the details about what kind of bricks we're using unless, you're Donald Trump and you want to hear about the grass. Generally speaking, you want to hear what the budget is, what's going to encompass, who's being hired, and you're not going to tell me every single person that applied. You're going to give me my best options, and we're going to go from there. And that's generally how it works when you're at a certain level and you're counting on the people around you that you place because you have confidence that they're able to handle that position to be able to bring you your best options. I mean, especially somebody, let's say Donald Trump, who likes to make speeches and go play golf. He can't possibly be sitting there signing papers all day.
This is not about Donald Trump. This is about Joe Biden.
But it is about Donald Trump because Donald Trump is the one making the blatant statement. If he himself is using the auto pen as we know he is, as he has admitted to such, then a blanket thing saying that that Biden can't do it while he's doing it seems a little hypocritical. Do you disagree?
That's just Trump being Trump. And of course, Trump is a big hypocrite in a lot of things that he does, just like a lot of politicians.
Just Trump being Trump. So making something illegal because he believes it's not right while currently doing it means that Trump being Trump is doing fraud. That's kind of what that would mean. He's doing things. He's saying that the auto pen being signed without permission is wrong, and he's going to stop it while using the auto pen, while probably literally signing it with an auto, having somebody sign that particular bill to strike Biden's auto pen with an auto pen. He's probably having an auto pen. He's probably being done by auto pen.
But you're missing the point, which is questioning President Joe Biden's decline and people using the auto pen without his knowledge. That's what he's calling into question, and he's negating everything. So now it's incumbent upon the Biden administration to prove that the president knew these things that were being cleared.
Right. And that's going to be a problem because Biden did not, just like Trump does not. So, I mean, you can't possibly think that all of the bills that's being signed, Trump knows. You at this point, with MRI coming out and we knowing that he had to have multiple cognitive tests and his brain was likely to part of his body being, or one of the three parts of his body being scanned, according to Caroline Levitt, was it? We know that there is something wrong with his head. And in particular, I don't mean his skull. I mean inside of his mind. There's something wrong. We know this because they're giving him cognitive tests. Because cognitive tests multiple times a year is not routine for a president. So if there's more than one cognitive test in the year, it's because they're looking for something that's wrong. That is just what it is. I'm not a medical expert, but according to all of the medical experts and history and my own experience. Have you had to take a cognitive test recently? Generally, they don't just give cognitive tests. To the president, they might give one annually, right?
Unfortunately, the voters that did support the president on the right, between and beyond, looking in hindsight and wondering where was all this smoke for Joe Biden, because you could physically see his cognitive decline unfold before us. If it wasn't for that debate, let's not forget the debate that exposed that, hey, something is wrong here. Now you want to put extra scrutiny on President Trump, fine. But again, it revisits the question, was Joe Biden aware of what was going on with his auto pen? And how come his doctor doesn't answer questions before Congress?
Absolutely. We need to find out what's going on with him. We need to find out why sleepy Donald Trump can't stay awoke in the Oval Office during meetings. Like, all of the stuff that Biden is being accused of, it appears that Donald Trump is now suffering from. And we can't do anything about the hindsight. We can bring people to justice, but right now we have 3 years ahead of us, and we need to know what's going on. If it's this bad now, what is it going to be in 3 years? So I think that the auto pen is a very big deal. If that was happening under Biden and we know it, yes, we go and do what we need to do to stop it. What about what's happening currently in our present administration? The auto pen is now dangerous. Keith Hegseth, J.D. Vance, these are the people around him. Are these the people making the decisions? Who's making the decisions for Biden? Who's making the decisions now? The auto pen, it should be in question. I agree, but it needs to be in question right now also. To say that what's good for the gander is not good for the goose is no bueno. If Biden was using the auto pen, bring the people around him to justice, and let's find out what's going on too. Is that a fair?
Well, you have to revisit all the presidents in that case, but yes, we have to look at everything. But in the meantime, we have to see if this is legal, what the president has done, like always. So they're probably bringing the courts and dispute it. Because there's certain things, particularly the president, I know like a lot of people on the right want to see happen, like all these pre-pardons to 2014 be actually revoked and go after investigating Dr. Fauci for the ouchie. So we'll see.
I would like to see the Dr. Fauci go after. Was he pardoned with an auto pen? I'd also like to see the January 6s, many of which were violent criminals before and after being pardoned.
Unfortunately, the president signed off of those publicly, physically, in wet
That
ink.
wasn't a real paper. There was nothing on that paper.
Oh boy.
There wasn't nothing on the paper. Like, yo, he dropped the paper. It was blank. It wasn't real. He was just signing blank papers and giving a show. He's a showman.
Well, at least we
which is
all know
nothing wrong with it.
publicly
This
that
is
he
not me
signed it.
complaining. That should be something that, gets read and not just, oh, this is the bill. Yeah, see this, I'm signing it. That's crazy. So to believe that he's crazy, I mean, that's crazy, crazy. Like, that's crazy. Like, hey, give me the bill. Yeah, I'm signing it in front of everybody. See, he didn't read it. He just was like, oh, yeah, yeah, this is important. I'm signing this. What? No, no. He would have had to read it prior. He would have had to have attorneys go over it. I would hope to God that he had attorneys go over it. Like, come on, bro. That's insane. But I do agree the auto pen and the signatures on it needs, especially some of these egregious pardons, needs to be looked into. And I guess that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed, like, share, subscribe. Me and Dion are in agreement. Let's look into the auto pen. Let's find out what's going on. But just overturning everything signed with it, I think that each case needs to be individually looked into. A blanket. We're not counting anything that Biden didn't, trying to erase everything he did into law is a little insane. It would devastate this country because you don't know how many bills that he signed. You don't know what he's really trying to undo. Because it is possible that he has a target bill he wants to undo that is, or two, that this blanket auto pen restriction or decimation would undo that would be beneficial to, let's say, Donald J. Trump himself and hurt the American people. We don't know. We don't know if undoing everything is going to hurt the people, because how many bills did Biden sign? He was in office for 4 years. Trump is, okay, he did over 100 executive orders, right? There's 100 things that's wiped off the table. Just to start, these are just the first 6 to 8 months. He had 4 years of bills. You want to undo everything? That might be something that you want to look into with more detail before you just do a blanket destruction of everything he signed. You have to look into, like, we don't know what would get undone. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. But it also makes sense to answer the question that people have had for a long time, that a lot of people are realizing, like, who was running the country for the 4 years under the Biden administration? Because we don't want people or collective conspirators usurping the powers of the president when he's mentally incapacitated, no matter who it is. So
I agree 100%.
we are
Okay.
the media, just like the media now has been compromised, in my opinion. It's up to us to do these kind of investigations. So I've questioned Joe Biden. The president now has a pen and paper and a hand. His hand is actually a picture in the White House now, not his face.
That's it,
Because
right.
this is
Is
not a
it
big
with
joke.
all the bruises where he can barely hold a pen, so he can't possibly be doing all the signing? Does the pictures show that? Because his hand is in such bad condition, he literally cannot be holding a pen making these signatures. You remember when it was like, oh, it's the handshakes, then it's like, oh, it's because venous, I forget, VCR, about his veins, but the condition of his hand that he has to hide when he's on camera shows that he could not possibly be signing papers.
Joe Biden?
So you're in denial about Donald Trump's hand? Is this where we're at?
No, I was talking about Joe Biden's hand. All the pictures of the president of the United States, when you get to Joe Biden, it's just his hand and a pen. That's how the president trolls, Trump being Trump.
Well, if we're looking at Donald Trump's hand, that's not his hand, because we've seen his hand. His hand is purple.
I'm talking about Joe Biden's hand.
Oh, Joe Biden's hand. Oh, well, at least his hand. At least Joe Biden can use his hand.
Not with the auto pen. No, we're not sure about that.
Okay, well, I agree. We need to look into it, and before a blanket thing to stop every bill he signed, we need to look into each individual bill and make sure we're not undoing something that's significant. Like, you might be taking away, I don't know, like, it's a president for 4 years. We need to see what's being taken away. You can't just take away everything. Like, you're taking away everything in the last 4 years. That's significant. That might impact children being able to see a doctor, or I guess Trump wouldn't care about that. It might impact Food, well, I guess Trump wouldn't care about that either. I guess Trump doesn't care, so for Trump, it's fine. As American people, I think that we need to see what's being undone.
Just because it's President Trump doing it.
What are you, crazy? No, no, absolutely
You
not.
just
No.
made up. You just did a little obsessed little slide bar about
Anybody that's just going to,
yes. Yes.
I think that you sound a little insane right now. I'm gonna say this over because what you're saying is you sound crazy. I'm gonna say this again. I'm gonna say it slowly for you. Before we erase 4 years of bills being signed in a blanket sweep, we need to look at the individual bills and make sure something very, very, very important is not being taken away. You can't do a blanket sweep of 4 years. You have to look. There might be important things. There might be a bill protecting us from, I don't know, I can't see with Trump. See, Trump makes it difficult because I can't use food. I can't say China. I can't say Russia. I can't say Israel. I can't say healthcare. I can't say all of the important. I can't say anything because Trump is against everything that is important to the American people, which is why his ratings are so low. But let's replace Trump with anybody else that's ever sat in that chair and say to erase 4 years of bills passed by the president might be devastating to the country. We don't know what might be undone. I can't use the economy. I can't use environment because Trump is against everything that we should be talking about, but I can't because Trump is against it anyway. So I think that what Trump is doing, this is important, this is the key, is taking away the regulations that Biden has in place because he doesn't want the regulations. He doesn't want the EPA protections. He doesn't want regulations. So what he's doing is actually going after regulations and using the auto pen as a weapon.
I disagree. But once again, you guys, you're watching this platform. You've seen Joe Biden. You see Donald Trump, how they perform in the public, interacting. It's the auto pen. So executive orders. This happens all the time too, by the way, where previous presidents and their successors actually go back and undo what they've done. So time to go back to court again.
Agreed, but it's never been done in a blanket sweep to undo everything. That is illogical. That is dangerous.
And so was having a president like Joe Biden and having people around them that have access to this auto pen.
Well, Joe Biden didn't sign paperwork. Oh, well, Trump didn't sign paperwork to put us in war. He just started committing war crimes. I think that's far more dangerous. He started taking food away from Americans. He started. No, in Venezuela. In Venezuela, we inherited that from Joe Biden. No, that's Trump being Trump. He's going after the oil. He's taking food away from American people. He's taking healthcare from American people. That's what's dangerous. And he did that with the auto pen. But I digress. If you're enjoying the content, please like, share, subscribe. We do this. We go back and forth. We're here every single day. We're here every Sunday going live. Come join us, converse, tell us your input. Maybe you have an idea or a different angle that we haven't seen. Dion, any closing comments?
Yes. When you're an executive and you have to manage a multi-million-dollar company like America, sometimes the auto pen is needed. But when you have a president like Joe Biden and see him unfold, who was running the country? The auto pen can be exploited and abused, and that's dangerous to democracy. If you care about democracy, the auto pen is something else.
Agreed. And agreed. It is. It's a very dangerous thing. You can do things like take away environmental protection and food and healthcare at the stroke of a pen. Extremely dangerous. And especially if it's in the hands of somebody who signs illegal executive orders because it goes against the Constitution, such as.
Can't let it go, can you? Donald Trump. You can't.
Well, I mean,
Donald Trump doing it.
I mean, I want to see one example where Biden signs an executive, one one example that President Joe Biden signed a bill that went against the Constitution, which makes it an illegal executive order because an executive order has to fall within the confines of the Constitution. Executive orders are not laws. They're actually in place to enhance what's already within the Constitution. You can't sign a bill outside of the Constitution. That is an illegal order. I want to show one example of President Biden doing it, while I can name several of Donald Trump, starting when he first got in office, where he tried to sign away people's birthright citizenship. Like, the man just commits illegal acts after illegal acts. And you're like, is Trump deranged syndrome? I'm like, no, I'm just looking and watching somebody do something illegal. And it's Trump deranged syndrome if I actually say it. Just like I'm a anti-Semitic if I say something against the country of Israel. It's like the right wing likes to use the, like, oh, you're racist, or there's something wrong with you if you see what's right in front of you. There's something wrong with you if you actually speak on what's happening. There's something wrong with me because it is what it is. Oh, Trump, there's something wrong with you, Trump deranged syndrome, because you're saying that Trump has 34 felonies. He has 34 felonies. I can't say it. It's okay for him to have it, but I'm sick if I say it. There's something wrong with the people that think that way. They are incapacitated. And the auto pen definitively needs to be checked. I agree with Dion wholeheartedly. Thank you, Dion, for your input. And this is Leo and Dion signing out.